Apple makes a less than earth-shaking announcement about iTunes. Sony pre-announces yet another Super 35mm camcorder. US television watchers are really cutting the cord. And that bandwidth shortage you've been hearing about? Not so much. All on the Feldman file for the week of November 21st, 2010. Last Tuesday, Apple announced that after years of negotiations, all of the Beatles albums will be available on iTunes. What was the consensus reaction to this earth-shaking announcement? Meh. In last week's show, I gave you the details about Sony's new PMW F3 Super 35mm camcorder. Industry reaction to Sony's announcement was that the F3 was very nice, but much too expensive compared to Panasonic's AG AF100 and 101. So at a trade show in Japan and a company event in the UK last Wednesday, Sony showed a non-working prototype of a new camcorder that it calls the 35mm NextCam. Before I go any further, I usually don't report on non-working prototypes. Their features and functions can change dramatically by the time they get to market, and the usual purpose of a manufacturer making such an early announcement is to stall sales of competitors' products. However, Sony's new camcorder does seem to have real potential, and I think that it's appropriate to talk about it, so long as you take all the specifications, delivery date, and price with a grain of salt. The 35mm NextCam is being developed at the same Sony factory and by the same development team that built the HXR NX5U, which has made a big impact at the high end of the prosumer camcorder market. Sony's new NextCam uses the same sensor as the F3, 20% bigger than the Micro Four Thirds imager used in the Panasonic AF100 and 101. It's got an unusual modular body with a flip-out LCD monitor and modular attachment points for a hand grip and microphone. The prototype doesn't appear to have a viewfinder, but the back of the NextCam has a large cavity, much bigger than necessary for a battery, that may serve as an attachment point for a viewfinder, solid-state memory, or an HD SDI port. The NextCam will use the same E-mount lenses as Sony's NEX digital cameras, and can use the A-mount lenses from Sony's Alpha digital SLR line with an adapter. It will record at 1080p at 59.94, 50, 29.97, 25, and 23.98 frames per second. A Sony representative was quoted as saying that the 35mm NextCam will ship in summer 2011, and the targeted price is €6,000. Given that the camera won't ship for at least 8 months, the price and many of the specifications may change by the time it ships. For the second quarter in a row, the number of U.S. households that subscribe to pay TV services has declined. According to SNL Kagan, U.S. cable operators lost 741,000 subscribers in the third quarter, the largest single-quarter loss in history. IPTV operators, primarily Verizon and AT&T, gained 476,000 subscribers. Satellite providers DirecTV and Dish together gained 145,000 subscribers. The net loss for all pay TV services was 120,000 subscribers. IPTV and satellite services were able to attract cable subscribers with lower cost service, and in the case of IPTV operators, triple play packages of television, high-speed internet, and telephone service priced below the $99 per month benchmark price. However, that doesn't account for the 120,000 cable subscribers that dropped pay TV service entirely. One of the big reasons given for the decline of cable subscribers is the end of special pricing deals that were offered to over-the-air television viewers when the Federal Communications Commission ended analog television service last year. Subscribers who signed up for those deals saw their monthly bills increase, in some cases dramatically. There's a big price difference between the basic or lifeline cable services and even the least expensive digital cable packages for most operators. For example, the Comcast service that I subscribe to charges $20.99 per month for lifeline service and $60.95 for its digital starter package. SNL Kagan said that the poor economy and people looking for lower-cost service can't account for all the defections from cable. There must be cord-cutting going on, especially since cable subscribers declined in the third quarter when the new television season begins in the U.S. and subscriptions historically increase. If this is the beginning of a long-term trend, the cable industry has a lot to worry about. Finally, the U.S. National Telecommunications and Information Administration found a whole lot of bandwidth for broadband services. The Obama administration is looking for 500 megahertz of bandwidth that can be used for broadband services and chartered the NTIA to find it. Last week, the NTIA released a report that identified a total of 2.2 gigahertz of bandwidth that could be freed up for other uses, more than 4 times as much as the Obama administration is looking for. To date, the administration and FCC have focused on getting television broadcasters to voluntarily return some of their bandwidth to the government, moving wireless microphones to other frequencies, and on using the white space between television channels for unregulated services. All of these initiatives have resulted in a hail of criticism. The NTIA identified 155 megahertz that can be opened up for commercial broadband use within 5 years, and another 2.1 gigahertz that could be available within 10 years. There's clearly more than enough available to meet the 500 megahertz goal, even without getting television broadcasters involved. Given it's increasingly looking as though the Obama administration only has 2 more years, time is running out for the FCC to implement its vision of a broadband future. By pursuing sources other than television broadcasters, the FCC could dramatically lessen industry resistance to its broadband plans. That's it for this week. The Feldman File blog is updated during the week, and you can read it at feldmanfile.blogspot.com. Again, that's feldmanfile, all one word, .blogspot.com. Your comments and suggestions are always welcome. Email me at len@feldmanfile.com. Again, that's len, L-E-N, @feldmanfile.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at Len Feldman. That's all one word, L-E-N, Feldman. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next week. The Feldman File is a production of Clemfarb eBook and New Media Consulting. Contact us at www.clemfarb.com.